This is the TI-84 Plus graphing calculator. This thing came out in 2004, and it was really an upgrade from the TI-83 Plus. The TI-83 Plus came out in 1999. They are essentially or nearly functionally identical. Basically, they added a little more memory to this one, and of course they added a USB port. But they also put it in this more stylish, futuristic case, which I, for one, don't really care for it. I think the older design was more functional. The keys laid out in a more rectangular fashion. The lettering was larger and easier to read. You know, this artsy transformation I don't think was very good. But what this talk is about is when these calculators fail suddenly. There is a design flaw in this calculator. It actually shares that flaw with this calculator. The problem is the batteries lose connection with the rest of the machine. The batteries are located on the back cover, and the system board is located in the front cover, and there are two pins from the back cover providing electrical current to the system board. Now, sometimes these pins will wear away the metal contacts on the other side, and you will lose electrical contact, and the calculator will fail. Now, fortunately for us, there are two little holes here which are created by the back cover. On the back cover, you got these two little hinges here and here. And that's what these holes are, here and here. Now, those holes provide access to a couple of metal contacts on the main board. Now, there's a very simple trick here. We're going to just take a simple voltmeter, put it on the 10-volt setting. Now, we have easy access to the batteries for our voltmeter. And we can put one probe here and one probe here, and we can measure the sum total of the four batteries, which in this case is 6 volts. But also, now we can take our same voltmeter probes and place them inside those two little holes and contact the internal contacts. And again, we get 6 volts. So we know in the case of this calculator, we have got good contact. Now, if I was not able to show voltage when I touch the internal contacts, that would indicate that we have lost connection between the batteries and the main board. And that would be caused when these pins wear away at the contacts. Now, if you do have this problem, the fix is quite simple. You just have to open up the calculator and move those pins a little bit to where they fall upon an area of good metal, and we're going to take this apart to show how it's done and how to fix it. In order to take the back cover off, you need a T6 Torx, that's T-O-R-X, Torx screwdriver, like that. And you'll need a small Phillips head screwdriver. And maybe a little flathead screwdriver might help you when you're prying them apart. Okay, so we will start by removing our batteries. Next, we will remove this screw right here. That's a Phillips head screw. And it removes this little cover, exposing a coin battery. And that's an LR44 coin battery. The purpose of this battery is to keep the memory alive when the main batteries have been removed. Now, you don't have to remove the battery, but you do have to remove the screw because it does hold the front and back together. Next, we have 6 T6 Torx screws. And they are located 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we will just go right ahead and remove those now. Now it's a matter of just carefully prying this thing apart. You can sort of see where that tab is right there. I'm slowly working away. I got two tabs here and here. And we just got to keep going. Okay, oh, there we go. So basically there are 4 tabs here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those are what you have to pry open. Now here's the problem. You have these pins right here, and they're very narrow and very sharp. And they rest against these 2 flat copper contacts there and there. And over time, they eventually wear through that copper contact. And when the wear gets bad enough, it will prevent current from flowing. Now, this is a close-up. You can kind of see how sharp and narrow those pins are on that side. You can see just a little bit of wear right there. Just a little bit of wear right there. There you can see a little bit of it right there. Now this particular calculator has almost no use on it. It got used very, very little. So there's very little wear on those points. But in calculators that have had a lot of wear, you'll see those worn away quite a bit. Now, just for comparison, I will show the TI-84. And you get a much better example of that wear. So look at that. That metal is just completely worn off, there and there. That's causing that will cause loss of contact. That will cause the calculator to fail. Now, in the event that you do have this problem, the matter is simply to bend these pins just a little bit one way or the other so they land on a different spot. They land on someplace where there's good metal. Okay, now that's the case of the 83. Now in the 84 Plus, really it's the same thing. If you've got worn away spots here and you've lost contact and the calculator has failed, you simply take these pins and you just maybe take a pair of pliers and you just bend them one way or the other, just a tiny bit so they land someplace else on this surface where there's good metal, and that will fix the problem. Now this is a remarkably common problem. I've seen it in a number of TI-83 Pluses. You also see it in the TI-89, the same terrible design. So we will now put this back together again. And then putting in our 6 Torx screws. And we put our battery cover back on. And we put our batteries back in to show that we do. Okay, now we will put the battery cover back on. And that completes our reconstruction. When we press the on button, we get this message saying RAM cleared. Now that's because when we removed the back of the calculator, that also disconnected the memory backup battery. So the RAM memory has been cleared because of that. And we just basically press any key then at this point and we're back in business. So in summary, if you have a TI-84 Plus calculator that has just gone totally dead, the simple thing to do is, again, just open up the back, use a simple voltmeter to first check the batteries themselves, right here and right here. You can check all 4 of them at once. And if they're good, go ahead and check the contacts on the main board. Okay. Now, if you are getting voltage, then the problem is not a loss of contact. However, if I were not getting voltage at this point, I would then know that the problem was the metal pins going from the battery to the main board had worn away the metal contacts. The simple fix is to open up the back and take those little metal pins and just bend them a little bit so they hit an area where there's still good metal. That's a very simple fix to a very common problem. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching.